Welcome back. This video we're going to talk about handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups are not interchangeable with handstand holds and wall walks because we want them pushing, right? We want them pushing through that range of motion. So if they're just holding, they're getting stronger in those stabilizing muscles, but they're not doing the action of pushing, which is what we want on a handstand push-up. Leading into a handstand push-up for some warm-up ideas or for some progressions building up to it, we still want to introduce maybe a wall walk, or like I had before, a wall walk with your toes on the box where you shove your butt in the air, walk back up just to kind of get the shoulders warmed up and get them used to supporting their body weight on their shoulders. So we're looking for a couple things when we do handstand push-ups. First one, just like a handstand hold on the wall, that belly's pulled in because we're pelvic tilting, not because we're driving the butt back, but because we're pelvic tilting, pulling those abs in like someone punched us in the stomach. We're also trying to achieve this head through position, so that weight is evenly distributed from my hands through my shoulders through the rest of my body. If my head's not through and those abs aren't pulled in, I'm going to be in this relaxed position and it's going to be either really difficult to hold a handstand, or they'll just get tired really early and they won't be able to move on with their handstand push-ups. So first step is a downward dog. With any of these handstand push-ups, we're going to put two hands down about shoulder width apart. When your head touches the floor, it should touch the floor slightly in front of your hands. So you're making a tripod position, right? That's a nice, strong position to have. So if my hands are down here, when my head touches the floor, it should be forward and in front of those hands. And then when I push back up, the head comes down. When I push back up, I drive my head back through. Okay? So our downward dog handstand push-up, we've got feet apart. Our head is tucked, so I'm looking back. I'm not looking for the ground. That head comes a little bit forward, and then as I press back up, I push my head through. Versus staying out here in front, I don't want to do that. I want to come forward, and then I want to drive back. So we're always getting through to that final active shoulder position. That translates most to a handstand. If they're good with that, move them or the class or whoever on to knees on the box or toes on the box. They're both about the same, so I'll just demo with toes on the box. Same thing. That head's going to come forward in front of our hands. When I push back up, I drive my head through. This is hard for some people. They want to just end up doing a decline push-up, and that's not what it is. We want that overhead active position. So toes on the box or knees on the box, whatever they have, you want to make sure their butt's in the air, that belly's pulled in tight. And you keep your eyes on the box. So butt up, belly in tight, eyes on the box. My head comes forward and down, and then I press that head back through to achieve that overhead position, that good overhead handstand position. So we've got our downward dog, we've got knees on the box or toes on the box. All of those movements, head comes forward, drive our head back through to a good handstand hold. After that, we can take it to the wall. No ab mats, no supports, no nothing. They should be able to control that negative all the way to the ground. If they can control a negative to the ground, they're ready to make some kipping handstand push-up attempts. If they can't, they probably need to develop some more strength here with their toes on the box. So come on over to the wall. Same thing, when I kick up to the wall and I lower my head to the ground, my head is not in line with my hands. My head is slightly behind my hands. So if you look out of your peripheral vision, you should be able to see those elbows, just like I was doing a press overhead, right? Those hands get in line at the top of the press, but we all start down here where we feel stable and strong. So I lower myself through that negative. My head is behind my hands. When I tuck my feet down and kip, I want to kip back through to that good head position. Okay? I see a lot of people when they start making attempts at kipping handstand push-ups, they come down great, they tuck great, and then as soon as they push, they look for the ground, and their belly comes out and they fall away from the wall. So you want to make sure they always keep their eyes forward, and they always try and drive that head back through. That helps them keep the pressure in their heels on the wall. So we kick up. We control that negative, so my head is behind my hands. I'm able to spot my elbows out of my peripheral vision. Tuck those knees down, and when I punch, I try and drive that head through again. If I look for the ground, I'm gonna come away. And that's what I see a lot of people do. They kick back really hard, or they look for the ground and their belly comes away. So you wanna make sure that you're telling them to always drive up, always try and push that head back through. If they can't do a bunch of kipping handstand push-ups, but they're able to control that negative pretty well, I would just let them make some attempts. Just try. Don't do the negatives only. Do the negative, coil up, attempt that rep. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. If that's the case, cut the reps back just a little bit, but let them make some attempts because that's how we get better. That's how we're able to progress.